But I want, like LeBron said, I want people to keep that same energy, bro. Y'all had all the energy in the world for Kyrie and all the energy in the world, for that whole situation. And it's like, yo, keep that same energy. The media outlets, all of these platforms that were denouncing it, keep the same energy for Amazon as well, who just made a statement the other day saying that they're not going to take that video, that movie down. Keep that energy for them. Protest them. Stop spending money with Amazon since you feel like they're supporting it by keeping it on their platform. But it's getting very frustrating living in a time and in a place where again we see time and time again that the rules are different for people that look like us.
Devil makes me cut. Makes me cut my head. Makes me wanna dance. Oh, you better put them hands together.
Back at it again with another installment of In Any Arena. If you like our content, give us that CLS treatment. Comment, like, and subscribe. Let's get to it.
I would be remiss if we didn't touch on this topic. We gotta talk on this. It's something that continues to come up. We saw my boy Kyrie get killed in the media, so we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna put it out there, and we want y'all to comment. Let us know what you think. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you now. Listen, we're not asking for a lot. I don't need the Maybach treatment. I don't need the Range Rover. I don't need, the 4x4. I need that CLS treatment. Give it to us. Comment, like, subscribe. So Dub and I can keep hitting y'all with this dope content. We can keep engaging with y'all in the comments. We can keep giving it to y'all a couple times a week, talking about boxing, football, basketball, baseball, whatever y'all want us to talk about. We own it. Yo, Jerry Jones, Dallas Cowboys. Let's get to it. Everybody saw the picture. The picture saw around the world. Hey, what are your thoughts on it, Dub? Everybody is 60 years ago, 70 years ago. Hey,
Well, this is a very sensitive topic, right? Allegedly, a sensitive topic. So I'm going to treat it with white gloves. I'm going to say this. There have been several instances where Jerry Jones has had a platform to share his stance
for sure.
on racism, police brutality, and such. It all started with the Colin Kaepernick
Right.
situation by taking a knee. He made a business decision to tell his players that they cannot take a knee, right? Okay, whatever you want to do. Then you got the whole police brutality stuff, George Floyd stuff, and you never hear any public statements by Jerry Jones. So now we have this picture. This picture that was taken, what, in the 1950s, 1960s, when Jerry Jones was like 14, 15 years old, right? I'm going to let you know right now, I really can't remember much of what I did when I was 14 or 15, but I know I wasn't standing in a photo with other counterparts taunting students. He said he was just curious. He was just looking at what was going on because this is the part of segregation, right? He lived in Arkansas. Was it Arkansas? Yeah,
Yeah.
Arkansas. And during that time, that was the thing. Racism was very prevalent around that time, right? So
And Little Rock, Arkansas is at the center of all of this.
all of this at the
Be
heart of
clear.
it. So
At the heart of it, yeah.
for me, if I were a player, I would want to hear him say, "Hey, you know what? In that pitch, I was curious, but I can let you know I condemn racism.
Mhm.
That was the time in which I lived in, and I'm 80. I can't speak to what I did back in those days, but I can let you know the type of man that I am right now and the opportunities that I've given people of color through the Dallas Cowboys organization, all the things that I've given back to the communities. I condemn racism. I would love to have heard that. And Jay Williams eloquently expressed that on several occasions via Instagram, via his platform through ESPN. I think Jason Williams is doing a great job in being a sports analyst in a very critical and cancel culture environment. And of
Yeah.
course, a
Duke
product of
Leslie.
Duke.
Duke
So,
Leslie.
what I'm saying? He gonna keep it 100. I rock with him. So I can say that's what I wanted to hear from Jerry Jones. Before I turn it over to you, I want you to think about this. A few weeks, a few months ago, right? Dan Snyder has been put out into the forefront, right? About his team, about they trying to get him out of there. He had all these investigations going on. A lot of bad things are going on in that organization, and I think in order for that team to prosper, they're going to have to get Dan Snyder out of there, even though he's the owner. But remember his comments, alleged comments. He said, "Hey, I'm not going out without a fight. I got some evidence or some content about some other owners that has not hit the light." So think about it. Jerry Jones has owned the Cowboys since the early 90s. We
Mhm.
talking 30 plus years. All of a sudden, these pictures just miraculously come out the blue. Is this Dan Snyder? I don't know.
Uh,
What are your thoughts, JT?
uh, you know, I think it's I think it's a sad time when you can have a league like the NFL, um, where there are owners, um, of teams, and the league be predominantly, one race, and all the owners another race. These
Mm-hmm.
owners control, the money. They can create rules for their teams that are not standard across the league. Uh, I think that there aren't many people that look like us who have a seat at the table, and I think that's sad in general. Um, Specific to this incident, I will say a picture is worth a thousand words. A picture doesn't tell us the content of someone's character. It doesn't tell us if he was a part of the mob of people, if he was hollering anything at those individuals of color that were coming into the school. It doesn't tell us much at all. It's just a picture. But it sets the stage for him to tell us what he's about, for him to, potentially denounce racism, denounce segregation, or anything of that sort. It sets the stage for him to take accountability for whoever he was back then. We've gotten hints of who that might have been, over the years, seeing as he's never hired a coach of color, um, seeing what his stance was on the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, hearing his tone when he's talking about certain situations with contract negotiations with players of color, on his team. And so, I think there's work to be done by the league. I think, and I said it when we talked about the whole Dan Snyder thing. I said it then. Jim Irsay had a lot to say, and I was like, well, hey, we don't want to dig into the skeletons in his closet. A lot of these guys don't have great character when it comes down to it. A lot of these owners. I mean, we have one owner of color who, is the Jacksonville Jaguars owner, and that just says a lot about the league. I think this was a great opportunity for Jerry Jones to make a statement similar to what he does whenever there is, an issue with Dak, or whenever Zeke is hurt or Zeke isn't producing. And if I was Odell Beckham, it might be something I got to think about when I'm thinking about what team I want to go play for. I'm sure we could find a spot for him, in Cincinnati. I'm sure. You know, it's a lot of teams that would love to have him. It makes sense for him to go play for the Dallas Cowboys, but it would be something I would have to think about if I were him. And I'm thinking about somewhere where I want to just not play for the rest of the season. He wants more of a deal to see him through, what might be the rest of his career. We talking about a guy with some serious, lower extremity injuries. So he's got 3 to 5, I would think, playing at a high level, left. So it would be a conversation that would need to be had. I think Jerry Jones definitely could have said more. He always got a lot to say any other time, and it's just very surprising that he doesn't have a whole lot to say now.
He was just
Um,
curious.
he was just curious. What were you curious about? You know, curiosity killed the cat. Um, but yeah, man, it's interesting, and it's interesting the take that the media has had on it as well. We saw Kyrie Irving retweet a link to a video, not stating his opinion on it, and I'm not saying his opinion shouldn't have been clarified. We're not going to get into all of that,
Absolutely.
but I will say we saw the media, you know, for days upon days, crucify him over a tweet. And, you know, he was being interviewed every day. He got suspended. Um, as of today, his relationship with Nike is terminated, even though he had one of the highest selling shoes for Nike,
And all the ball players love his
one
shoes.
of the
Ball players,
best
kids love it.
basketball shoes there is. So we saw that contract terminated today. All for
Oh, that happened today?
yeah, official. It's official today that their relationship is severed, and so
Wow.
you know when you think about these sponsors of the Dallas Cowboys, it's very interesting that when the shoe is on the other foot, you don't ever see sponsors pulling out, "Hey, we can't support this team." I think Miller Lite is a huge sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Hey, we you don't see that. You're not going to see it, and we know why. So it's time that as a community that we start thinking about where we spend our dollars, who we support, and who supports us. And I think that's all that I can really say about that. Keeping in mind, you know, putting myself in a position where I could potentially lose something. That's how I'll say. But yeah, we need to really think about cooperative economics, UJAMA, and who we support. You got a lot of people of color who are fans and supporters of the Cowboys.
A lot of
Cowboys is
people.
one of the um, most successful franchises in any major sport. Has one of the largest valuations. I think the Yankees are number two and the Cowboys are number one or something like that. They're in the top three, I would say, out of all the major sports leagues in the U.S. So I think it's time that folks really hold their feet to the fire and hold these organizations accountable. Do I think we'll hear anything from Jerry Jones? No, we won't. I know we won't. Well, what is he going to say other than he was curious? He's not going to apologize. And also, I don't really want him to. A lot of people are talking about Jerry Jones apologizing. Well, what is that going to
He
do?
was 14.
It's just
Yeah.
lip service. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I agree with that.
That's not going to make me feel any better. I've never went to a Cowboys football game. I won't be going. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but um, I respect Jay Williams a lot. He said, he wants to hear Jerry Jones denounce racism. That's not going to happen. I don't think we'll get that either. So we just got to take it for what it is, man. And you know, whatever George Bush said, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I can't get fooled again." Whatever it was he said,
And he from Texas, so you
yeah,
know how they do down there.
yeah. So it's like we're not going to get him to denounce racism. You're not going to get him to, apologize, and nobody's going to hold his feet to the fire. Not Roger Goodell, none of his counterparts that are also owners, or peers that are owners. I hate that word, but so what do we do now? And we're not going to see any of the NBA team owners say, "Oh, Jerry Jones need." Nobody's going to speak out. Nobody has anything to say. Joe Tsai, the owner of the Brooklyn Nets, and I live in New York now, so it's interesting. He had so much to say. Yes, Kyrie played for his team, but we're talking about similar situations. We're talking about similar situations. We're talking about a picture and a tweet. So you had so much to say. We saw so many people that had nothing to do with the Brooklyn Nets, had nothing to do with Kyrie, nothing to do with basketball, have so much to say about the tweet that he made. But none of these people have anything to say about this picture. None of these people have anything that they feel like Jerry Jones needs to do. And then we see Stephen A. Smith get on, and he's like, "Well, Jerry Jones is a friend of mine. This was, how many ever years ago, making excuses, bro." And it's like, bro, like, why? You
For
don't
for
got
for
to
me,
do that.
for me, I like again. I, I see a little bit of Stephen A's point because 14 to 15, you really don't understand. Like for me, I can't tell you what I did. How old am I? 11 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell
If
you that.
somebody gave you a picture,
That's just a fucking
and
more than 11 years.
if somebody showed you a picture, I bet you could recall.
16 years ago,
Yeah,
actually.
I bet you could recall what was going on. If somebody shows you a picture with some familiar faces, you go recall what was going on. And regardless if he can recall it,
Yeah, just say, look. Even if he would have said, look, I lived in Arkansas. Like the heart of where this stuff went down at. Listen, I can't speak to for my actions back then. I can't recall, but I will say that I can condemn racism. Like I don't. That's bro. If he would have said that, boom, done.
but do you see my thing is too though, people aren't going to condemn who they are.
My
So
There you go. My sentiments exactly.
you're
Case
not
in
going to
point.
get that. So it's
Case
like
in point.
I
Yeah.
don't even I don't even feel like he needs to condemn it. He could have said, "I don't want to be on the wrong side of history, and this picture pushed me on the wrong side. So here's what I'm going to do to fix it."
Mm,
That's what I want to hear. What you gonna do going forward? I don't care what you already did, because, like I said, that was like
fair,
Steve
fair,
is right
fair.
about that. That was 50 years ago. How many ever years ago it was? And again, your actions or inaction, rather, over the past 20, 30 years kind of lends us to believe who you are anyway. So, fine. That's who you are. That's who you have been. People can change. So, acknowledge it. Hey, I was on the wrong side of history. Hey, I participated in this. It is what it is.
You
This
were
was
there, so you participated.
this was a thing, where I was from. And at the time, maybe I believe that to be right. But here's what I believe now in my heart, and here's what I'm gonna do going forward. That's respectable as a man, and then
Yeah,
nobody can hold that against you.
yeah,
But for you to not say anything, it leads us to believe that you still feel like that now. You know,
absolutely.
and that the only reason why you got persons of color on your team is because you couldn't win without them. We know you couldn't win
Mm,
without them. How?
mm,
You might not be able to field the whole team without them. So we know that it's a necessary evil for you.
absolutely.
If you don't like people that look this way, or that are this group of people, you can't. You're in a business where you can't win without them. So you like, hey, I'm a whatever. These are good ones. Probably that's probably some of the same thought process you have. Like, oh, these not so bad. Um, or you got a brother like Michael Irvin or a brother like Des Bryant, and like, you one of the good ones. They probably done said something like that before. All we can do is speculate because you're not saying nothing. So, I think it leaves a sour taste in people's mouth about somebody who already was kind of questionable in my mind. Maybe he wasn't questionable to y'all, but he was questionable to me. And it doesn't do anything to take that question mark out. So I got a sour taste in my mouth. I don't think we're gonna get any resolution out of this. But I want, like LeBron said, I want people to keep that same energy, bro. Y'all had all the energy in the world for Kyrie and all the energy in the world, for that whole situation. And it's like, yo, keep that same energy. The media outlets, all of these platforms that were denouncing it, keep the same energy for Amazon as well, who just made a statement the other day saying that they're not going to take that video, that movie down. Keep that energy for them. Protest them. Stop spending money with Amazon since you feel like they're supporting it by keeping it on their platform. But it's getting very frustrating living in a time and in a place where again, we see time and time again that the rules are different for people that look like us.
Mm. I'll leave it off on that. I have nothing else to say. Yep, very
Yeah,
powerful message at the end.
for sure, man. For sure. Listen, we hit everything in the arena. We're gonna talk about the sports. We're gonna talk about the good. We're gonna talk about the bad. And sometimes, like today, we're gonna get into the political. Please know we respect all opinions. Drop anything you want in the comments. We'll engage with you. Definitely open and intelligent young men who are willing to hear different sides or different vantage points of arguments. So let us know what you think. Just be respectful, and we'll continue to be respectful when discussing as well. But yo, as I said, we don't need that Toyota Camry. We don't need the Lexus.
I'll
We don't
take it.
need the Rolls, the Benz. We'll take those. But what we really need from you is that CLS treatment. Comment, like, subscribe, and Dub and I'll be back with more from In the Arena.
Until next time.
Peace.